Mark Yeates. Thanks everybody for attending and joining. So we're going to talk about our work with Plessey, and I'm going to try to move through pretty fast. Collaborative success, supplier customer dynamics in semiconductor smart manufacturing. So Inficon, first of all, is a company. We are we have three major manufacturing locations in Cologne, Germany, in Liechtenstein, and in Syracuse, New York. And we have around, I would say, 1,500 employees now. Like most companies, anything to do with the semiconductor industry, we've been on a large growth path. So we've grown quite rapidly in the last few years. We manufacture all kinds of products, but significant for this presentation is that we have two products that I'll talk a little bit about. One is called FPS, Final Phase Systems. This is a factory data warehouse, digital twin, dashboard scheduling software for the factory WIP movement. And then the other one is a product called FabGuard, which is a FDC, fault detection and classification software. So this goes on the tool, monitoring tool parameters, and then doing detection of errors and things like this. Just to give you a bit more of a view of Inficon's product range, so our factory dashboard smart manufacturing side is a smart digital twin, factory dashboard, which does real-time factory priorities, factory scheduling, so this is literally scheduling where the wafers go and when they go there. Optimized scheduler-based WIP movement, so we have a product called NextMove, and NextMove for fabs that don't have any kind of automation, so they're still using operators. NextMove is a product that displays where the wafer should go, so where the lot is and where it needs to go next. We have integrated sampling, so intelligent integrated sampling, so this is a product called Metrology Sampling Optimizer. We have our FabGuard FDC and Smart FDC, including sub-fab solutions. So this morning actually was quite interesting. You hear a lot of things about saving energy, saving gases, different kinds of things. So one of the things that we're really focused on these days is looking at the tool usage of product in the tool at the tool level, so measuring MFCs, measuring different types of gas flows, and also transferring that down into the sub-fab. So we're measuring pump usage, current, phase, power, stuff like that, measuring different gases, and we're creating ways to save energy as part of that process. So that's a really important new step for Inficon and for the smart manufacturing world. We also make a lot of smart sensors. I don't want to talk about AI because everyone else has. But what I will say is that we make a lot of different technologies of sensors. We're actually a sensor-based company from our primary level. If you look at the word Inficon, it stands for, IN stands for instruments, and then the F is for, and then the I was for industrial, and then the CON was control. So instruments for industrial control. And that started because Inficon started by making a microbalance device to measure thickness deposition. And so it's carried on from there. And now we make things like quadrupole mass spectrometers, micro GCs, GCMSs. We make RF sensors. We make all kinds of optical technology. So all different types of sensors that you can augment with the tools sensors and measure different things in the process in real time. We also make vacuum measurement sensors, so vacuum gauges, CDGs, things like this. And then we also make helium leak detectors and stuff like this. And then we also have a product called Fab Recover, which is like a smart software for helping to recover a tool when it's failed, doing OCAP, that kind of stuff. So if we just talk a little bit about the FPS products, we basically produce a digital twin, which is taking all of the data from the factory and then putting it into a smart database that then gives you the ability to do a factory dashboard and then to do factory scheduling, NextMove, as I already discussed, and metrology sampling. The purpose of it is really to aggregate and evaluate data from the top level down, and then to visualize and understand the data, to execute and control on the data, and then to analyze and make improvements. And what Mike is going to talk about is some of the things that he's done with the data that we've produced by installing a digital twin into Plessey. The purpose of creating this digital twin is to improve efficiency. So what we have here is a performance efficiency curve, and basically what you want to do is keep the curve as flat as possible. When you have around 85% factory utilisation, you tend to start getting chaos in the operations. And what we do is by taking over some of the decision making, we push that curve flat and basically increase the output of the fab. And typically you could get a 5 to 20% cost of goods increase. Decrease, reducing cost of goods by 5 to 20% by improving throughput in the fab. So we wanted to talk a little bit about the collaboration side of things and the partnership. So, Inficon looks at Plessey as a trusted partnership, and I'm not going to go through all the things, but some of the things that, were important for us was flexibility and adaptability, good, clear communication, effective governance of management of the project, because these projects aren't small. These are large-scale deployments. They take a year, 2 years to do, to really get them correct. So for us, all these different things were part of the project from the outset. And what I'm going to do is hand over to Mike to explain a little bit more about the results from it.
Thank you very much. Quite a few of the requirements you would have heard from Arwell's presentation earlier, but we are a low volume, high mix, high complexity lab to fab sort of layout. We have a need to make sure that our cycles of learning are as fast as possible. We want the customer to learn as fast as they can so they can get their products to market. So cycle time is a really important part of what we do, even though we do research and development. The other thing we needed was a single source of truth. I think everyone's got multiple applications that there might be slight differences, so which one is right? And the digital twin allows us to go, well, that one is right, because it's all feeding into the same position. The other thing was full visibility of fab operations. We struggle with a slightly older MES, and Inficon's able to put that into a decent user interface without knowing what letter takes you to what page in old school MESs. Reducing the burden of reporting. I think everyone in the room wants to reduce the burden of reporting. We've gone from having to do that from 12 different applications and taking weeks and weeks to pull data together to just a few hours to do a quarterly report. So it's really beneficial in saving our time there. And probably an interesting one even for Inficon is visibility for our customer. I don't think everyone would want to give their operational side of what they do to their customers, but for us it's really important. Meta really want to collaborate with us, not just on the development but also operationally, so they want to see how we're performing for them as well. Some of the top three that helped when we did the first implementation of Inficon was them not just being off-site, but also coming on-site, going to the Gemba, seeing what goes on the shop floor, also, going to our morning meetings, understanding how our production facility runs, so they could provide us with solutions that we didn't think about because we don't know their software inside out like they do, but also us shadowing them. So when they're carrying out their development, their apps guys, we are working with their apps guys, seeing how their apps guys are working, so we can get an understanding of how long it takes to do something that's a bit more bespoke, which manages our expectations, but also when we ask for something, we know the value of it based on the amount of time it could possibly take. And developing apps is a bespoke thing. No one's going to tell you it's going to take exactly 4 hours. It could take days, weeks. So getting some idea of it is a good way of us identifying what's the most important thing we should be doing right now. Governance on both sides. So There's a main owner on both sides. There's one at Plessy site and there's one at Inficon. We talk regularly. When they come over, we do things together. We try and create not just a professional relationship, but also a relationship outside of work as well, to try and improve how we communicate inside a work environment. And being flexible to work in each other's hours. Ted, who I work with quite a lot, is based in Portland. He has family, I have family, we all have, lots of hours in our days that we work. So being flexible with each other. So, he might get up at 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning to work with me, but I might work with him at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the evening, depending on how busy each other are. And that really helps us, again, there's no delay in waiting for a meeting. We can get things done at pace if it's important enough to have those late meetings. So since the collaboration, it's sort of 3 or 4 key big improvements that we've made. And I want to say it's not Inficon that's obviously done these improvements, but it's given us the information that we can act on it and make improvements in the fab. So the first one is this 3 times improvement in X factor, which is massive. It's a huge amount. So the second one on the right-hand side, it's a 2 times improvement in tool down and hold time. Development lots carry a lot of holds. Having the visibility of what those holds are, what we could do about them, whether we could create new processes which reduce those holds and allow us to move development through the line quicker. And also understanding the tool downs. How much time are we losing in cycle time due to tool downs? We're not running at 100% capacity. OEE isn't our biggest thing. Our biggest thing is making sure that we get those cycles of learning to the end of the line as fast as possible. And the final one there is 2.5 times improvement in standby with whip. Again, it's a massive improvement. So again, that's all from not just the collaboration, but them understanding how we work and knowing where we need to monitor where the gaps are. And I'm going to hand it back to Mark, I think. Yes.
Yep, sure. Okay, so just in summary, a quick conclusion. Working with an experienced partner that understands the needs of both parties is super important for both sides. Exceptional and timely project results is also very key. It creates mutual benefit and value creation for both sides, sustainable growth, and opens future business opportunities. And I think both the experience from Inficon side and from Plessy's side has been very good. I have one more slide. It's a bit of a request, really. So I work with the SEMI organisation, and we are there's a group called the SEMI Smart Manufacturing Group. It's a worldwide part of the SEMI organisation, and we have a European chapter. And we created a smart manufacturing survey, which we were looking to get people to fill in so that we could get a real feel for a state of the union, certainly within the European community, for where we are in terms of smart manufacturing. So I would encourage everybody, if you can, come to see me, get the link so that we can get a little bit of information. You don't get a lot out of it, I have to say. It's not the perfect ideal output, but in return, what they've agreed to do is to give special insights to compare, like a benchmark between your input and the general input overall. So it could be something interesting, and it might give you pointers if you own a fab or you're running a fab, and pointers to where you need to focus if you see big deficiencies in what other people are doing compared to what you're doing. So purely voluntary, but yeah, thank you. Thank you very much, everyone.